Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investors channel. My name is Sensei Crypto and today we're going to be doing the Sunday show. Let's get straight into it. We're taking your requests, we're looking at charts. I'm sharing my love of charts with you guys. This is only for educational and entertainment purposes only. Anything I say in this live stream should not be taken as financial advice. Please do not take it as financial advice. Martyn is away on holiday this week. We can still stay connected every morning during the live, during the time of the opening bell. There will be a song premiering. We do have a link to a playlist at the moment, so you can go there, listen to the amazing music, and also chat in the live channel. Keep the family together. But after 2 years, Martyn finally has made the decision to take a holiday. So I will be continuing my Sunday shows, but he will also be continuing putting out content. So please do watch that every morning during the time of the opening bell. So welcome in everyone. Let's see your comments and let's get straight into it. Tim Rogers, I can slightly see your comment. Let's look at IBM. Yes, we can look at that. IBM, let me get that ready. IBM. International Business Machinery Corporation. There's Martyn's comment about special song premiere every trading day, usual start time. So the usual start time of his shows, there will be a special song premiere every trading day. That's great. Join live to chat and share the premiere. You all missed Leah. So there is the link for the playlist, and join us every morning for that. James 007 is here. Good evening. Henrik is here. Smash the like button on your way in. Yes, please do hit that like button. Hi Sensei, it's been a great week for Rocket Lab. Could you take a short look at it? Henrik, do you remember when we were talking about Rocket Lab and how I said this could be the moment everything changes? And it looks like that has happened. So we will look at Rocket Lab as well. Lich and IonQ, please. I think I won't be making any videos, but I'll be taking a request. Martyn is on holiday, so I'm assuming I'm not going to be making any videos. If Martyn is here, he can clarify that, but I'm going on the assumption right now that I'm not making any videos, which is fine because I'll be having more time to answer all your questions. Hi all, good evening, good afternoon. Chris King, gold, silver, copper. Yes, Chris, we'll be definitely looking at that. Please do become a member. I do love looking at gold and silver. Okay, so let's start with IBM. I think this was Tim Rogers' suggestion. So IBM is continuing to make all-time highs, looking very, very good. When you're in price discovery, it's hard to give good technical analysis. The only way we can do this is looking at Fibonacci points. There is no previous resistance. However, Fibonacci points does tell us from the previous major high of $196 to the bottom of $159. We do have our first target, which has been hit, which acted as a bit of resistance, but now we're above it, which was $218. So I would have been taking my profits around that point. Again, I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just saying where I would have taken my profits, which would have been at $218. Most of my profits, we might get a retest of $218 at that point. That it could be plausible to take another position, and then the next major target will be $255. It is in price discovery. The RSI is overbought. We do have bearish divergence. If you look at the RSI on the daily, we've made a high, then a lower high, but in real life, in the real chart, we made a high and a higher high. That is considered bearish divergence, so we can see a pullback on the short, medium-term time frame. So in the next sort of month, this could play out to come back down. The next sort of level of support would be previous highs, which would be around just below $200. So $200, around $200 would be my next buy zone for IBM if this bearish divergence results in the RSI coming back to sort of a normal level. Right now it is overbought and there is bearish divergence on the daily. If we look on the weekly as well, we can see that we don't have major bearish divergence. I mean, we do have the previous high and a new high, but we haven't created a higher high on the RSI. So if this continues, that would be good. If the rally doesn't continue and the RSI doesn't get even more any more elevated, then we do have the issue of bearish divergence on a larger time frame. So that could result in months of downfall. So right now, most profits are taken at this level, $218, and I'll be leaving a little bit of the position just in case it does continue to run. However, there's a few metrics now showing that we might have a pullback. So that's IBM. The next suggestion is Rocket Lab. Oh, it's exactly as predicted. Again, not financial advice. I wasn't giving financial advice. I was just looking at a technical based chart pattern, which was a break of trend, which was to the downside. You can see this green trend line. Let me make sure this doesn't turn off. We did have this green trend line here was a downwards trend. You broke the trend to the upside, which is oh, here we go. We've got a super chat.
Bart Poludniak donated €5 through a super chat. Sensei-san, could we take a look at Enovix, NVX and Area Ray if we have time, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Bart. If you do give a super chat, we will definitely look at it. We can't guarantee that we'll look at all the normal comments. However, if you do give a Bart, as you've given a super chat, we'll definitely look at that straight after Rocket Lab. So yeah, so Rocket Lab, we broke trend. This trend line broke. This was our buy entry. We also had this major level of support at between $3.50 and $4. So this is our buy area, and we did say it's looking very bullish. We're going to be taking on every single one of these resistance levels, and we'll be reacting, and it happened exactly as predicted. We broke out strength to the upside. We had our resistance at our $5.72. We broke past it, and I said we're going to go to $7.40, have some resistance, and then we managed to buy some more at $7.35. Then there was the next resistance, which we went straight through, and now we're on our last resistance point at around $9.78. And as you can see, the weekly candle closed just below it, so we might see some downside. The next potential buy zone is $8 now. Once we break that $10, that $9.78 cents level, this stock can really start moving quickly. There'll be small resistance points along the way, $11, and then after $11, I don't see much in our way before we hit $15. So this stock does look like, as I said, it was very undervalued, and it was an area where the technicals did show us that there can be a major move to the upside. We can now start looking at Fibonacci's from the high to the low, and that does bring up points at where we saw resistance at the 382. The 50% retrace will be taking us somewhere towards $12. So this does look like it's going to continue moving up. The RSI is looking fine. Of course, it is overbought, but there's no bearish divergence. You can stay overbought for a while. I'll just be taking my profits maybe at the $10 because I entered this trade around $4. So that's a 2x in less than a few months. So that's good. My next buy zone will be $8. My next take profit zone will be $11. And after $11, I'm looking somewhere between $11 and $15. So yeah, this does look like it's continuing to move up, and I'm very happy with how this trade has played out. Now let's move on to Bart. Bart's comment. Vaz is here. Welcome in, Vaz. If you do give a super chat, we'll look at your stock straight away, as Bart has done. So let's have a look at ENVX. ENVX, okay. Let's have a look on the daily time frame first. So we were in a downtrend, we broke the downtrend, but then we continued down. There was another downtrend here. That was a longer term downtrend, the blue line. Then we have another downtrend, shorter term, that we moved to the upside. This is a perfect example of downtrend. You break, you move up a bit. It doesn't always mean you're going to go to all-time highs. It was not very well sustained, and we did have that resistance point at $10.50, which we couldn't break. Then we had an upwards trend. The upwards trend broke on a smaller time frame. Then we had a downwards trend. That downwards trend broke, and now we're back in the upwards trend. So what we want to continue is this trend to the upside, something like that. So that's what we have going on right now. It's an upwards trend. $10.50 is the next resistance point. If you break $10.50, I am looking to target about just under $14. I think that's where we could be heading next on ENVX. We're not overbought on the RSI. We're quite neutral actually. Plenty of room to run to the upside. So it's a classic point of there's resistance above, support below. So take some profits at resistance, in my opinion, and what I would do, not financial advice. $10.50 would be an area I might take a little bit of my profits. $13.34 would be an area I would be taking some more profits. An area I'd be buying more would be maybe around the $9, and then yet again at $7. So it's hard. This stock right now is very choppy, so we can't say it's hard to say which direction it's heading in. So it's best to have limit orders set up on the support around $7, $9, and limit orders to sell around $10.50 and $13. And then we've got this major trend to the downside that if we break, then we're heading to $21, and that trend line. The price target will depend on when we hit this trend line, and that's currently, if we hit it next week, for example, it's around $17 to take profits. It's not a horizontal trend line, so that changes every day. But yeah, I mean, looking at the structure, it is going to be choppy around here. It could be a case of trading this at every level, or if you don't want to, then you can just buy at levels such as $9, $7, and $5. I would have enough money to be buying at $5 and then taking profits at $14, where this trend line is around $17, $16, and then $21. But yeah, it is a choppy one. We're probably going to be continuing to chop around in the larger sense, in the larger sort of, it'll be between these green trend lines, and in the shorter sense, in the more the short term, we'll be chopping around all of these white horizontal lines. So you can look at it as a more of a long-term perspective, buying it down here around $7, $5, taking profits around $18, or you can look at it in the shorter term, trading it more sort of daily, weekly. Buy zones at $7, $9, sell zones at $10.50 to $13. It's hard to give. This stock is very volatile to the up and downside. The major trend right now is actually towards the downside, so we do have to be careful of that. And that's why it can potentially come down to $5.50, and I want to have enough money on the side to buy it at that level. We can quickly look at the weekly and look at the RSI, but I think that will be pretty neutral as well. Yeah, the RSIs are 46, nearly in the middle, and you can see how choppy this stock is. So yeah, and the trend is mainly to the downside, so it does suggest that we can come down to $5.50 and $7 before we break out of this trend. Once you break out of this green lines, then you start looking at $21, $26, and the major target being all-time highs at $40. Once you break $26, you can see how quickly we went up last time and how quickly we came down, so I would expect the same thing. If we do break $26, we can very, very quickly head up to $40. The next suggestion was AARY. No, sorry. AARY is not a ticker. No. ARRY, I think you meant. I believe it's this one. Here we go. We've got a super chat from Vaz as well, which hasn't come up. I'll give it a couple more minutes and then I'll read it out. Thank you, Vaz, for the £10 super chat. I'll read that if it doesn't read it out soon. Array. Now, this is an example of one that's not there's not too much choppiness. It is going to the downside, but it is at a level of support. It is at the all-time low, so that is always a nice area to be buying a stock. The market cap is 1 billion, so it is a large company, and because that 1 billion market cap is going to give us some support as well, because it's right on that 1 billion, 1.02 billion, so people will be buying it based on the market cap as well. So right now is about $5.50 where it was all-time lows. Normally it wicks down just like last time, and then it has some more support around this area. So I think this is at a buy level. Again, not financial advice. It does look like it's at a level of support, which is normally an area to be buying. So that does seem like it's at a buy zone at this current time. We don't have any prices below this. Of course, it can drop below $5.50. But previously we did rally very, very quickly. Last time we hit this, it went all the way up to $24 in a matter of sort of 10 weeks. So something similar can happen. Let's take a Fibonacci from the previous high to the low we're at now. The first target would be $10, which is a nice 63% up, a move to the upside. So if we do get that, that's a nice level. We'll be taking some major profits. And then you can look at the 50% retracement level at $16. And then you'll have all of this resistance over here to contest with. So those are the levels to take profits, in my opinion. $10, $40, $16, and $24. If you do break $24, it came down very quickly, so you can easily head back up to $53. But right now, what we need to make sure is we don't break below $5.47. If you do break below $5.47, you enter price discovery to the downside. So that some people would put a stop loss at about $5 because it can quickly accelerate to the downside. If you really believe in the fundamentals of this company, then you just look for more buy zones when you break below, trying to see if there is any significant areas where you can tell. It will be based on RSI. If it's very oversold right now, it's not that oversold. Previously it was more oversold when it hit all-time lows. So if it does break below, if it does go very quickly, then you'll be looking at the RSI on the weekly and on the daily to suggest that the stock might be oversold and it might be a good time to buy it. But right now you've just made a higher low on the daily time frame, and it looks like we will be at least hitting $8.44. In my opinion, you've got a gap fill right there, so that's going to be attracted to that level over there. So we might be a very quick trade, up to $8.41. Normally if there's a gap, the price is attracted to that. The price wants to close that gap. About 80, I think it's 80%, 85% of gaps are filled. So at some point you're looking to get back up to $8.41 and close this gap at $8 and $8.41. And you've got higher low. That's good. That suggests that more market participants are holding it. More people are holding it. So that's good. This week you want to see it trend back above $7.50. If you do come back down, if you break $6.46, then it looks like you're coming back to all-time lows. And at that point, if it comes back to $5.54, you might look to take a stop loss, because at that point it's more likely to fall into all-time lows. So I'd be very careful if this stock comes back down to $5.54. If it breaks below it, yes, it's a buy zone, but when it's an all-time low as a buy zone, it's more risky. The rewards are bigger, but it is more risky because if you fall below it, it's price discovery to the downside. So there's no limit orders left. All the limit orders, the majority of the limit orders are going to be at all-time lows, so about $5.54 and $5.46. So yeah, it is a buy zone. It is a high risk, high reward buy zone, because previously you could see last time it hit this level, it quickly rallied. Normally the first time it hits it will have a quick rally, which is sort of what's happened here. You've got 33% in a matter of like 9 days. So that might be the major rally. It's hard to say. All I can say, it's very high risk to be buying at all-time lows, but it's also high reward. So if you like the strategy of high risk, high reward, then all-time lows is a good buy zone. But you also need to be careful that if it breaks below all-time lows, it can accelerate to the downside very quickly. So you wouldn't put all your money in at all-time lows. And just because it's all-time lows doesn't mean that will be the all-time low forever. It can drop below those all-time lows. So what I would do, I would have my buy levels set up. If I really like the stock, I'd have already bought at these levels. I'll do another buy zone at $5.56. And if it breaks below, my personal opinion, if I really like the stock, I wouldn't actually bother selling it. I'll just have enough money. I'll put 50% of my money in at all-time lows, and then I would be looking at this RSI. And if the RSI becomes very oversold when it breaks this level, if it does break this level, When it does become heavily oversold, that's another area where I would look to buy. I can't give you the price right now because that depends on how quickly we come down and where the RSI is, but I would leave enough money on the side to be buying it if it does break below all-time lows. And what I'm looking for is to stay above $6.46. I'm looking to continue making higher lows. So this is a low, this is a higher low. I'm continuing to see maybe it comes back down to $6.48 and then it continues to upside. I'm looking for this trend to now move to the upside, these higher lows to be created and start heading to $8.41. $8.41 could be a major resistance and then it can come back down. So I'll be taking profits at $8.41 if I was doing it. So that's for Array. Now let's see what Vaz's comment was. May I ask everyone to watch Friday Party Show? This was there was an unexpected guest in the after credit scene, like in the Marvel movies. I think we all missed it. What a season 3 finale! Vaz, thank you for the super chat, and I'm definitely going to have to go watch the Friday Party Show again. I think I missed it, so I'm very intrigued. So everyone has to go watch the Friday Party Show. And also, please do remember to hit the like button if you haven't already. Martyn is going to be giving a live a live video will be going out during the normal time of the opening bell, and that will be very nice to watch. It will also have a live chat for you guys so you can still stay connected. Martyn has taken his first holiday after 2 years, so there will still be videos every market trading day, so please do watch them. Hello Sensei, what do you say about the MSCI Semiconductors ESG screened ETF? I know it's 30% based on NVIDIA, which is a bit scary to be honest. I'd prefer more the Vansec Semiconductor one. To be honest, I haven't looked at either, so I can't give you my opinions. Vaz, it was the best party ever of all season. Please hit the like button, get to the chopper, says James. Please do hit the like button. To me, it was when I heard Ding Dong song for the first time, but this was a true Avengers Endgame style finale. What do you think about ASTI or ASTS? Aaron, if you give a super chat or if you become a member, I will answer. I can have a look at it. Vaz, I liked your light up bow tie at Martyn's party. It was an excellent bow tie. Hello everyone, hope you're having an amazing day. Sensei, can you please review Tilray and SCHX? Yes, thank you for the super chat. I will have a look at that right now. Your thoughts, Sensei, on MAGS, and let me just see if my alerts are on. Yeah, my alerts are on. Your thoughts, Sensei, on MAGS, and let's compare it to VU SAP or S&P 500 at $5,730. Your thoughts, Sensei, on MAGS? And let's compare it to SAP at $5,730. $5,730. Oh, okay. Because the S&P 500 is currently at that price, is it? Neo, if you have time, Sensei. Yes, we're going to be focusing on the super chats. So we're going to Zach, if you could just let me know exactly what you want, how you want me to compare it, as in what's a better buy, but which mag specifically or as a whole. But I think I understand what you mean. But let's start with the first super chat that we missed, which was Tilray. This is for Charles. Tilray, here we go. Let's get rid of some of this mess. So this is an example of a very, very choppy stock. Let's get rid of some of this mess. Seeing if there seems to be high lows, but not in a specific way, it doesn't seem. Tilray's it's been acting very, very strangely. You can see how choppy it's been. There's been areas where we've been able to take trades, but in terms of a long-term hold, it's really not been great at all. Okay, so what I was looking for there was some sort of trend. We know the trend is to the downside. We can tell because there is just, you can see the price moving down, and there's just lower highs, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. But we want to see if they're converging, seeing if there's higher lows, which there seems to be. We've got this low, the first low, the all-time low is around $1.50, and then we made a higher low, then we made the same low, then I guess we made the same low, but a bit higher, and then this was a little bit higher. So we're holding a base, and that base I think is better defined with something like a little bit like what Rocket Lab was like, where it kept hitting this base, and then at one point it started the momentum. There was a lot of buys, no one was selling, and then it continued to the upside, and news came with it. So we do have this support base around this level that we keep hitting. So there does seem to be major support. And for that reason, I would have buy levels set up at this support: $1.60, $1.50, $1.65. Be buying at those levels. They're all very close together. And then it depends. Are you holding this long term? Are you trying to trade and make some money out of it? Because the history has shown holding this long term is not a good idea, because it just continues to move down. I would have a holding position, I would have a trading position, or I'll trade a little bit of it and hold some of it long term if I like the company. So I'd have my buy levels at 165, 160, 150, 171, and then I'll start taking profits at 195. If you take an average of all of those buys, you're sort of looking at a 22% move up. If you're looking at the most recent buy, which is about where we are now, 171, you're still looking at a 12% move to the upside. So I'll take my first profits at 185, and then again, it's very choppy. So it could be, depending if you want to hold it longer term or shorter term, your next take profit zone is about $2.15, then $2.31, $2.50. And then just like Rocket Lab, it's the take profit zones suddenly move much higher. So then you've got take profits. Once you break $2.50, you're looking at $3.38. Then you're looking at $4.93. And then once you break $4.93, you're really looking at maybe like $30. So it's a nice time to be accumulating the stock if you do believe in it in the long term, which I would be. I think the next earnings is going to be in 3 days. So it's time to get those limit orders in case it's a really good earnings or it's a really bad earnings. And my major limit orders, as I've just told you, $1.50, $1.50, $1.60, $1.75 on the buy side of things. And on the sell side of things, I would have some of my positions sold at $2, some sold at $2.31, and some sold at $2.50. That will cover me for the earnings, either if I have to buy or sell. So those are my levels. Buying at $1.50, $1.60. Maybe 171 if I don't have any positions right now. So if I don't have any positions right now, I'd be buying at 171 as well. But 150, 160, 171. And then my sell zones will be 195, 215, 231, 252. And then you can decide what levels, how much percent you want to take as your profit, what you're comfortable with. And then I'll have $3.38 as a take profit as well. It's going to be very volatile. The earnings are in 3 days for Tilray, and that's why I would have these limit orders set up. What was your next suggestion? SCHX. Looks like the S&P 500. So it is, what is this again? It's replicas an index of large cap stocks selected from Dow Jones US Total Stock Market Index, custodial from the broader index that are ranked by market cap in descending order. Stocks ranked 600 or larger are automatically selected for inclusion. Current constituents ranked 900 or higher are selected in the descending market cap order until the index contains 750 stocks. The annual composition review is announced and implemented in September. Interesting. This has been performing really well. I'd actually be interested to see what the holdings are. 100% North America, 99.6% stocks. Let's see if we can see what the... So I've heard of this ETF before, but I've not holdings. Objective: the fund's goal is to track as closely as possible before fees and expenses the total return of the Dow Jones. The total return of the Dow Jones. Highlights a straightforward, low-cost fund offering potential tax efficiency. The fund can serve as part of its core in a diversified portfolio. Simple access to 750 largest US companies, as ranked by full market capitalization. So what's in it? $907 billion market capitalization. So Apple is 6.7%, Microsoft is 6%, NVIDIA is 5%, Amazon is 3%, Meta is 2%, Google's 1%, Berkshire Hathaway is 1%. So I guess it just has more stocks than the S&P 500, but let's see how it compares to the S&P 500. So yeah, it's very, very, very similar, if not the same, to be honest. I think it's performed a little bit better. Interesting. So this is done. Let me open another trading 212. Just very interested to see how it performs against the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 on the year is done 34%, on the year to date 20%, 34.20, 34.20, 34.20, and this is done 34.20, 34.20. So it's literally the same. So maybe what's the point of this instead of the S&P 500? So yeah, it is the exact same returns. So I mean, I could just look at the S&P 500 chart, to be honest, and it would be the same thing. My thoughts are we were in a bear trend, bear market in 2020, between 2020 and 2022. We broke this trend. We are now in a very bullish trend, where you sort of have a parallel channel going on to the upside. Normally I draw that a bit differently. Well, we can draw a trend line. I get very confused when I look at a new chart when I've already got the S&P 500 chart. What can I say about this stock? I mean, it's making all-time highs. It's tracking the S&P 500, Dow Jones, the S&P 500 really. It's making new highs. In my opinion, I wouldn't like to buy it at this price. I'd be waiting for a crash or a correction. Even if it's a correction like what happened back in August, where we had that 10% correction, or was it a little bit more than 10% on this chart? No, it was 10% correction. I'll be looking for a 10% correction to be buying the stock. I wouldn't be buying it now. It is very bullish. It is continuing to make new highs. But I think there's better places to put the money right now. I think even how much higher can it go? Maybe another 5-10%. If you can get 5% on a savings account, why would I not rather do that? Have no risk at all, and then at one point, if this stock does come down 10, 15, 20%, I can move that money that's making guaranteed 5%. When this stock is probably not going to make another 5% in a year. And then move it into the stock when it does have a correction, which it ultimately will, and buy at that point. We are in price discovery, so we can't say where we're exactly going. I mean, we have broken the 1618, so that's our sort of final take profit zone. You can look at areas like this. Sorry. And that's also taking its profit. So I apologize for not putting my thoughts all in a nice sentence, but I'm trying to think myself, what would I do in this situation with the S&P 500? I would just be taking profits. If you're holding this for 10 years, it doesn't make a difference. But if you're trying to make better risk toward decisions, and you're not holding it for 5 years, even if you personally, I'm going to be holding the S&P 500 for more than 5 years, but I wouldn't buy at this price because I think my money's better spent when there is a correction. I can make more money that way, but right now this stock is nearly overbought. The RSI is not looking brilliant on the daily, on the weekly. That's the monthly. On the monthly, you've nearly got triple bearish divergence, which is not going to be good. That can be signifying a major crash coming, but we won't look at that. On the 3 days, we've got bearish divergence. We've made a high, a higher high, and the previous high had a higher RSI, so that could potentially be showing that we've got a big correction coming. And the daily, again, you've got some bearish divergence. So I wouldn't be touching this right now. I wouldn't be touching the S&P 500. I wouldn't be buying personally. And I don't have any targets for you on the S&P 500 or on this stock or the S&P 500 right now, as we are at all-time highs and we are at the previous targets for this bull market. So I'm not sure. Is the honest opinion of mine. I'm not sure. It is a very, very safe ETF, but I'd rather buy it when there's a crash and we're at all-time highs, and I can't bring myself to say this is a good buy zone. We are more around resistance than we are at support at this level. Zach, your dancing was great on Martyn Live's party. Zach, ground control to Major Tom, drinks a cup of tea and put your helmet on. So the Magnificent Seven, VU, SAP, or the S&P itself, I know that the VU and SAP are the same. Can you show for them on the charts? So the Magnificent Seven, I don't think is there an ETF that just tracks the the mags. I don't think so. Oh, actually, we do. Round Hill Magnificent Seven. Interesting. There is actually an ETF that's only the mags. Let me show you this. This is an ETF called ticker symbol mags. Interesting. Round Hill Magnificent 7 ETF. What you want to do is compare these. Can we show all four? I remember doing this before. Let me see if I can do that. Where we have all four on the screen. No, that's not it. I'm just seeing if we can make it a way where Sensei has given very kindly a super chat, and I want to make sure we do it in the best way. Let me see if there's a 4. 4. Okay. Something like this, I assume. So that's the mags over there. Let's have... How many do we want? Mags, S&P 500. Oh, you just want the 2. Can you show 4 of them on the charts? What 4 was it? As in the mags? Or 4? So you want 5. Let's go. Something like that, I guess. Let me just see. I just want to make sure that this Magnificent 7 ETF is actually the mags. Let me just check if I'm reading Zach Zate's comment right. Let's go back to him. Cameron Griffiths, Neo, if you have time, Sensei, yes, we'll look at that next. Magnificent 7, VU, S&P, can you show all 4 of them on the charts? Can you show all 4 of them on the charts? The Magnificent 7, there's not 4. So the Magnificent 7, VU, SAP, and the S&P 500. Oh, you want to see each of them? Okay, interesting. Sorry, I thought... I don't understand why you want to see the S&P 500 and the trackers of the S&P 500, but now I understand what you mean. You want to see the Magnificent 7, which is up here. You want to see the S&P 500. You want to see the S&P 500. Let's do this now. Let's see. You want to see the Magnificent 7, that's top left. S&P 500. You want to see VU. I'm going to probably have to get rid of this as well. You want to see VU, and you want to see SAP. SAP? Are you sure? Yeah, there's that the S&P 500. I guess it is. Let's remove this. So we have more space. And then there's a way that we can make them all in the same time frame. How do we do that? Sorry, Zach. This is taking a while. I just want to make sure. How do I make them all on the same? Okay, I don't really know what I'm doing right now. Why is this not? There we go. Yeah, they're all synced to an extent. Sorry, Zach. I don't know what I'm actually doing right now. It doesn't seem to be working. Time, sync and layout symbol. No. Interval. What does that mean? Crosshair. No. Time. Time and date. Yes. Okay. I think we're in action. Well, we've got. Why is everything S&P 500 now? Oh God. Mags. I think it's the most difficult request I've ever had, Zaxi. I don't even think I'm doing what you want me to do. But I think I'm nearly there. S&P 500. I don't know why you want me to compare different trackers of the S&P 500 as well, but we'll do it. You have given a super chat. Okay, here we go. So top right, we've got mags. Let's not do it there actually, because that's the only one which is different. Let's do it bottom left. Mags. So bottom left. And we have no RSI. How have we lost our RSI? I apologize to all the viewers. I'm just trying to get this up and running. Take the ingredients and make the best of it. Mags is what I'm about. I wanted the 4 on the same chart. I wanted the 4 on the same chart. Oh God. I've just finally sorted this out. And you wanted them on the same chart. I've just synced all of these charts together. The S&P 500, SAP, Vanguard. So I guess we'll have a quick look right now, because they're all synced up. As you can see, these are all the same. Top, this one, they're all the same. Bottom left is the one that's different. That's the mags. Mags only. It does seem like that they are pretty much the same. You can look at downside from the high to the low on the S&P 500 was 10% on that sell-off. On the mags, it was 23%. So, and from the bottom to the high, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's a bit bigger. From the bottom of that sell-off back in August, that 10% sell-off on the S&P 500, 23% sell-off on the mags. From the bottom to where we are right now, we're up 23% on the S&P 500. We've actually made new highs. The mags haven't, but we're only up 12%. So it does seem like it's just a more extreme version of the S&P 500, which obviously makes sense. This goes all the way back to, let's say, the last sell-off in April of 2024 to the all-time highs of the mags, 24th of April. That was up 36%, I believe. Let's do that again, make sure. From April to sort of just June, beginning of July, was up 37%. And that was in April. So let's go to April here on the S&P 500. April to that high there was only up 14%. So you can see the mags, as expected, are just more volatile. They do go up faster and make more percentage moves to the upside, but they also come down quicker. The mags right now haven't made all-time highs. The S&P 500 has, as you can see on the charts on the right of the screen, they're both the S&P 500 and they're exactly the same. For example, you can check from this low to where we are at now. It's about 12%. Let me make sure I've got that right. 12%, 12.6% on this chart here. We are looking at 12.3%. 12.12%, and over there we're looking at 12.60%. So that's the S&P 500. On the SAP, it does look to be a little bit different. The SAP does look to be a little bit different, I have to be honest. So let's look at the SAP and see why that's a bit different. And I'll just put this on this chart as well so you can see the difference. So let's see if the SAP is the same percentage. 17% it seems. So as you can see on this chart, we can see the previous lows in August. The S&P 500 up 12.36%. The SAP is up 17%, so that definitely doesn't seem to be an S&P 500 tracker. This one down here is up 12.6%, so the same as the S&P 500, and this is the MAGS up 22.8%. This one here was the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, which is VU. This one at the top left was the S&P 500. This one on the top right was the SAP SE, which was a ticker symbol. And then this was MAGS. So you can see it's just a bit more volatile, a bit higher moves to the upside. The mags right now aren't making all-time highs. The S&P 500 is. The next buy zone on the mags would be, for me, would be back near those August lows, so about $40 on this ETF specifically. And in terms of percentage moves to the downside, we're looking at around 16% moves to the downside. The S&P 500 is actually less of a buy for me. I wouldn't be buying this all the way until about 4,800 on the S&P 500. On the VU, I'm looking at buying this maybe near, for the S&P, I'm looking at about 15% moves to the downside. So I assume I'm looking at $478. $478 is my first buy zone, and then looking at $450. Yes, if you look to the side, I'm looking at $420. I'm looking at $480. I'm looking at $450 on the VU. Those are my buy zones for the Vanguard S&P 500 ticker symbol VU. And for the Magnificent 7, I'm looking, as I said, around $40, which is $7 to the downside. Not that much, about 16% move to the downside. I think all of that will happen very shortly. We are running out of time, so I have to move on. Zach, I do apologise. I'm sure this isn't what you were expecting. Hopefully I can do that better for you next time. Thanks for your work on IBM today. Yes, did we look at IBM? Thanks for your work on IBM today. IBM, have we done that already? I think we did, didn't we? Let me check. No, that's the wrong one. We do have another one. We have to look at Neo as well. Yes, we did do IBM. No worries as well. Who was that? Tim Rogers. Tim Rogers, did I do IBM for you? Oh, I did. You didn't give a super chat, but now you've given a super chat to thank me. Oh, Tim Rogers, that is very, very kind. Thank you so much. I do really appreciate it. I did the chart and you gave me a super chat anyway. That's very appreciated. Thank you, Tim Rogers. Cameron Griffiths has asked me to do Neo. We are finishing the show shortly, so I don't have much more time. Oh, Sab has given a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Sab. We are running out of time, so if anyone does want to give any more suggestions, then you can do a super chat, and I'll do yours after Neo. I'm just looking at your comments. I'll get back to that in a second. So Neo, we did have a potential trade here, but it did not actually occur. As I said, that's why we have a very tight stop loss. The stop loss meant that we only lost 8%, where in fact this trade could have gone down 40%. So I'm much rather losing 8% than I am 40%. So that trade was unsuccessful. Now we're looking at the next possible zone for Neo. So we did find support at $3.65. That's why I've just put a horizontal line there, so we know that for the future. Support was found recently there. We're back above that support at $5.45, where the previous trade was going to take place. Neo's looking good. Made a bottom, double bottom, back above resistance. What you're looking at now is just one more zone it needs to break through, which is $7. You break $7. If Neo breaks $7, I'm very confident that Neo will double in price from where it was a few days ago at $5. It's looking to get up to $10.50. Normally, when it's at $10.50, I'd like to take profits just below the $10 mark, maybe at $9.50. I would be taking my profits. and it does look like NEO has double bottomed, and it looks like it's going up to $10.54. The RSI is actually overbought, so it might come down and test $5.50 again before it continues to move up. We don't want it to lose $5.50 again, but it looks like that level there is going to hold a support, $5.50. It's going to take out $7 hopefully this week and head on to $10.50. So from where the prices we are at right now, it looks like the trade can continue another 58% to the upside. And it does look like the trend is in its favor with the double bottom. Again, the longer term trend is to downside, but right now we have put in a double bottom for NEO with a very nice daily candle close on Friday, showing momentum to the upside. Once $7 is broken, we're looking at $10.50. Next buy zone for me would be $5.64 if it does come back down there, $3.65, $1.23. But right now we're looking at this specific trend, which can, in the short to medium term, take us up to $10.54. Let's look at the weekly time frame and see if it's painting the same picture. Weekly time frame is definitely painting the same picture, not overbought on the RSI, looking very strong with that double bottom, looking to get up to $10.50. Yeah, so NEO is looking good. Target's $10.50, which I'll probably take profits at $9.50. $16 is next take profit. Next buy zone's $5.50, $3.65. Back to the comments and let's finish the show. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a great show. Let me see your comments before I finish the show. I hope your weekend's going well. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for the confusion. Exactly, it's my problem. I don't apologise. I understand. Wow, incredible. I think the mags can go to $100, and that isn't not financial advice. I think so too, Zach8. It is a very cool ETF, and I'll be looking at that one personally. Hello, Martyn. I thought you were on holiday. Martyn is on holiday. My name is Sensei Crypto. I do the Sunday shows, and I'm here on Sunday. Martyn will be producing a video every day where the opening bell would have been live, so please do check that out. There will be a live premiere, so you can comment in the live show. Before you go, Sensei, please remind everyone to see the Friday party. Yes, there is a Friday party. Vaz gave a £10 super chat and he said, may I ask everyone to watch Friday party show? There was an unsuspected special guest in the after credit scene, like in the Marvel movies. I think we all missed it. What a season 3 finale. So he's saying go check out the Friday show, and that's what I will be doing after. Where were we? I think gold and silver is going to stabilize. Let's have a quick look at gold and silver. Look at gold. How many times have I said last year that gold is going to surprise everyone this year? Every single person I speak to is surprised about gold's price. I am not. It is exactly as I predicted. Don't know where all my... There it is. Exactly as I predicted. Look at that, continuing to make new all-time highs. Last week it was up. On the week it was up another 5 to 3%. So it just continues moving up. $2,800 is my target. Silver is also lagging behind, but that can also take off shortly. Could we check about gold? Sorry, Shab, if you were a member or if you gave a super chat, we could. It definitely is worth it. I will look at NVIDIA as well tonight, but you have reminded me. Let's look at NVIDIA quickly. It is in. See how quickly we can do this analysis. I think NVIDIA is the same as last time I produced a video, but let me just turn off my ending music. Until next time. I'm joking. Let's quickly do NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, interesting. So it did hold 116. So 116 it did hold. I did say if it breaks 116, then we're looking to come down to $100. It did hold it, however. It did hold $116, so that does put a span in the works, but not really. I mean, the major 116 is the support resistance, is the support right now. If it holds 116, then it's looking to continue to upside. But the main thing that we're looking at It's not just about the resistance, it's about this trend, and this trend that I'm showing you here. Let me get the drawing tool. Where's it gone? This trend here, you see where I've put this high over here, this high over here. They're all lower highs. One lower high, one lower high, one lower high. What you want to break, and I've said it, if you look at the last video, I said $130 is the key. You break $130, then you've made a higher high. All it's done right now is just made another lower high. So there's no point holding $116 if you can't break $130. So $116 is key, because if you break below that, you're going to $100. But if you don't, if you're holding above $116 and you're not taking out $130, then you're just going to be stuck in a range, and that's not very helpful for anyone. So right now, you just made a lower high. What you need to do is break this high over here. This high over here needs to be broken at $130. If that doesn't get broken, then eventually you will break $116. And if $116 breaks, you're going straight to $97. If $97 breaks, you're going straight to $70. So if there is a crash in the markets, $116 is going to be taken out. You're going to hit $97. If we've hit $97 two times in the past, if we continue to hit $97, we're going to continue to move to the downside, and then we're looking at $75. So I'm very concerned about NVIDIA's price. Especially if it breaks $130, then it's a different story. Then you're looking at heading to $140, then $172. But it just doesn't look like the momentum is taking us to break $130. So $130, I've said about 20 times in the past minute, is very, very important. Thank you for reminding me about NVIDIA. We did just look at NVIDIA. Just want to say thanks. Thank you, Tim Rogers. Have you considered 360 camera? Can we look at check Barrett Gold Sharp? If you're a member, I could do that. Closing thought on SEC versus XRP, potential of appeal before October 7th deadline. They probably will appeal, but if they don't, then XRP's in the clear. I haven't actually read up too much about it, because they've won I don't think the appeal will go very far anyway, so I don't really care. But my closing thoughts on that is I don't really care about the appeal, because they won't get very far with the appeal if it does happen. I'm looking at the long term here. No video was in the title. Yes, we did just have a quick look at NVIDIA. Sorry about that. I love the channel and the family. My wife is back to me tomorrow. Martyn, enjoy vacation. Yes, please do enjoy him. I did send a super chat, Sensei. Sab. Oh. So, Sab, yes, we can have a look at gold and silver. So what you've done is you've done a super chat, but you haven't actually put the comment in the super chat. So that's why I didn't see. You want to look at gold and silver. So I'll quickly tell you that. Gold and silver. Gold, I think, is going to continue moving up. Sorry, let me find you the right chart. Let me turn off the music. So gold, I think, is going to continue moving to the upside. I think my target on gold is $2,800 an ounce. We did have this major, and the reason that is my target, we had this major cup and handle pattern on gold. Cup handle pattern, we had this trend line where you can take high to low. That gives us our target of the cup and handle pattern, and then you're looking at a target of 2,845, or if you're looking at a slightly more bullish target, you're looking at $3,000. So I'm looking between $2,800 and $3,000 an ounce. We have this resistance here, but there's not much left in it now. However, that is still another 10% move to the upside for gold, especially with what's happened in the geopolitical situation over the weekend. I think gold was going to continue moving up. Silver, on the other hand, that has a lot more potential once gold stabilizes, maybe around $3,000 silver. People might start looking towards silver because it's too expensive. People won't want to pay $2,800 for an ounce of silver, for an ounce of gold. They might look at half ounces, at 1/10 ounces, but people will start wanting to buy precious metals because they've seen what's happened to gold, and the next best thing they might land on is silver. and silver's only $30 a coin, so they might consider that very cheap. And that will leave silver in a position to take out all these resistance points, 35, 37, 44, 49, and make all-time highs at $50 an ounce, and that's nearly a doubling in price of silver. Silver has finally broken the highs of 2020, so it does look like silver is on its way to slowly take each of these resistance points out at $34 first resistance, 35.50, 37.60, and then when it breaks 37.60, that when you have a major pump to $44 an ounce of silver. So I think silver, even though gold normally performs better, gold is more safe, silver might actually outperform gold in the coming months and years. Well, at least months maybe. And so that's my thoughts on gold and silver. Thank you for your super chats. Do consider becoming a member. It's a couple dollars a month and you actually get a lot of your requests for free. And there's the link for you. If become a member as well. Thank you for the super chat, but it's Barrick Gold. You keep trading. Oh my god. Why do you say gold and silver and then say which one you actually want me to do? Barrick Gold. How does that have anything? Let me just make sure I'm not the one being... I think I'm wrong. Sab, I'm so sorry. Let me see. Sab, it's my mistake. It's really my mistake. I do apologize. I keep getting you and Chris confused because you're both non-member. If you were a member, it would pop up and I could see your name, but it's my fault. Sab, you're a non-member, so normally if you're a member, I can do the requests, but you've given a super chat anyway, so I'm happy to do the request, and you've requested Barrick Gold, so I apologize. Ticker symbol gold. Barrick Gold, in my opinion, is probably going to move up with gold's price. I don't know let's do quick technical analysis for you. Normally we don't do technical analysis unless you are a member, even if you give a super chat, but I'm happy to do it this time. So right now you're sitting at resistance just below $21. If you break $21, you're looking at $27, then $41. You are a little bit overbought on the RSI, but that's not really a problem because there's no bearish divergence. You can continue being overbought. So I would have my sell orders at $29 and $41 and my buy orders at $8 and at $12, even though we probably won't see that anytime soon because of gold's price. You do have this upwards trending support line, so there might be a buy order at this trend line around $16. You do have some resistance now, so you might drop to $16 and then break $21 and head up to $27, then $41. So it is actually looking pretty bullish, this stock. It might be better buy than the actual spot price of gold because that is at all-time highs and this stock isn't, depending on how the stock operates. And on the daily, we've got the same story. So it's looking good. I've given you my targets. I really have to go now. But thanks for your super chat and do consider becoming a member. Thank you for your golden last. No worry, Chris. We've done Sab and Chris. Sab wants gold. It doesn't say in the chat. Yes, we realised that. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Sensei. Have a good night. Thanks. I was asking about Barrick Gold, Sensei. Yes, Sab, we've done it now. I'll become a member. Thank you. Yes, the link is right there. Chris, are you going to become a member? Do we have to pause the music? I'll give it a minute and see if Sab and Chris become a member. The link is right there. It's a couple dollars a month and you become part of the family. Sab, maybe it's a different channel, but you definitely aren't a member, otherwise it would if you were a member it would show. And here it is. Here is the link to become a member. Martyn Lucas is in the chat and he's given the link. Lillian Vaz says, not going to be allowed to leave tonight. Everyone keeps asking for more. Lillian, thank you Vaz for the super chat. Gives us something to do while we wait for Chris and Sab to become a member. Lilium is... I swear we had some more. We looked at this before. Sab, welcome to Bronze. Thank you for becoming a member. Thank you for becoming a member, Sab. Now we're waiting for Chris King to become a member. Sab, that means next week when you come into the show, I'll do you a free request. So just come on, remind me again, give me a request. We can look at gold again if you like, and I can do a longer analysis for you. See what's changed. Welcome, Sab. So Lilium for Vaz. Yeah, Lilium again. I'll give you specific levels because it's a quite volatile stock. Support at 64 cents. That's my first buy level. Then there's just below 60 cents as well. You've got your all-time lows that can easily come back down to 37 cents. So I'd leave some money on the side to buy it there. If you break this trend line, this blue trend line, this downward sloping one, you're looking at taking profits at $1. That will be a key area to take profits. People will be looking at $1, so I'd suggest just below $1, maybe 98 cents, psychologically speaking. Then you've got sort of $1.30. So this can double to around $1.30, or nearly double. But right now you need to break this trend to the downside. So 99 cents, it might even go to 99 cents and sell off quickly, come down to 72 cents, 65 cents. So 92 cents, I'd have a limit to order. Even though the resistance is at 103, people will try and front run that trade and take profits at around $1. So we would be more likely to get out at 99, 98 cents. And then $1.33 is another limit order. I don't know when the next earnings for this stock is. And then you've got your next major support, resistance at $1.88. So this is one to hold in the medium term. And if we get down to 35 cents, buy it there. If we get down to 64 cents, buy it there. You can have small trades along the way, selling it at 99, selling it at 133, but ultimately we're trying to get back up to $1.88. Right now the RSI is trending down, so there is nothing stopping it from moving up to 103. So that can happen this week. I've got to get out of here. We don't seem to have got... Just wanted to reassure about the buying zones. I'm long term. Oh, buys, yeah. So buying zones 64 cents, and then again, always all-time lows is a great time to buy it. Buying zones. Let's see if there's another one. If we take that low to high, yeah, you're looking at if it comes down to 64 cents, it might come to just below 60 cents as well, which is this level over here. So buy levels. You're in this long term. You're looking at buy levels. It'll pop down to 60 cents. If it's 64 cents, it might come down to 60 cents. That'll be the majority of my buying, between 60 and 64. But in the case it breaks 60 cents, it will quickly come down to all-time lows, which will be a shame if we don't have enough money to buy around 37, 35 cents, 40 cents. Around that area there would be my next major buying zone. But there is potential that 60 cents will be the lows for a long time as well. So buying at 60 cents, 64 cents, and then worst case having a bit of cash on the side to buy it at 37 cents. Thank you, Vaz, for that final super chat. Just want to be sure about the buying zones. I'm long term. Thanks, Sensei. Paddy was asked, why are you painting lines? Vaz, hi to you and your lady. It was so much fun dancing with you. We need to go watch that Friday show. Vaz has asked everyone to go watch that after hours. Thanks, Zach. She's dead asleep now, but I'll pass the message. Until next time, take care of yourselves, each other. Take care of your money, yourselves, and each other. Don't forget to check out Martyn's music show. Well, he'll be producing a live premiere for all of us to chat on and enjoy at the time of the opening bells. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Hey there, guys. Thought I was a member all this time. I don't know what happened there. Sab, welcome back. Thank you for becoming a member again. And that's why I got very confused. But until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye bye.